1976 was a year pretty much without equal in the history of popular music. That year saw the release of dozens of albums which would, over time, become recognized as absolute classics. All of those albums from 1976 are marking their 50th anniversaries in this year, 2026. We've chosen 30 or so of those albums to reconsider in this series. In this episode, we're looking at an album that quite literally changed my music listening life. Don't report this, agents of fortune. Hey there, Swan Shadow here. Welcome back to the nest. I might as well just get this out of the way right up front. Blue Öyster Cult is one of my all-time favorite bands. I mean, there's a box set of their classic period releases sitting right here next to me as I record this. And when I say that Agents of Fortune, Blue Öyster Cult's 1976 studio release, changed my music listening life, that's because this was the album that kick-started my love affair with BOC. For a very long time, Agents of Fortune was my favorite BOC record. Now, over the years, it's been surpassed by a handful of their other albums, but it's still in the top 5 or 6 in my personal ranking of BOC albums. Note to self, we need to do a video ranking Blue Öyster Cult's studio albums. Got it. Agents of Fortune's signature track, Don't Fear the Reaper, remains my #1 BOC song, even though it's really not typical of the band's work overall. That, for me, is a good deal of the charm of Blue Öyster Cult. Their material ranges so widely that almost nothing they've done can be described as typical. BOC's penchant for weird, fantastical, often darkly humorous lyrics is more or less a constant. Even the band's name, with its trademark diacritical, started out as a joke. Musically, though, they're a little bit of everything. That's one reason, I think, why BOC has always kind of floated a bit under the pop culture radar. They're impossible to pigeonhole. As already noted, their best-known song, with its ubiquitous cowbell and surf guitar riffs straight out of the Dick Dale style book, is unlike anything else they've ever done. If you come to this or any Blue Öyster Cult album looking for more songs just like Don't Fear the Reaper, you're not going to find any. Which explains the rest of Agents of Fortune. It opens with the chugging biker anthem, This Ain't the Summer of Love, with Eric Bloom's snarling lead vocal. Then segues immediately into True Confessions, a catchy piano-based pop number that would have been at home, say, on a Meatloaf album. The seductively atmospheric Don't Fear the Reaper is followed by a rocking track about a close encounter with a UFO. That's ETI, extraterrestrial intelligence, which in turn is followed by an ode to a lover with a dual personality, The Revenge of Vera Gemini, with lyrics and vocals by Patti Smith, who was dating BOC's keyboardist Alan Lanier at the time. And that's just side 1 of the original vinyl. On side 2, there's The Undead, Tattoo Vampire, ripped from the headlines True Crime, Morning Final, and, other assorted strangeness. And none of the songs sounds anything like what comes before or after it. For me, Agents of Fortune is very much a front-loaded album. Side 1, that is the first 5 tracks, is much stronger, in my opinion, than the material on the back half of the record. Now, that's not to say there's a bad song anywhere on this album, because there isn't. But the real strength is in those first 5 cuts. For me, as a young listener completely unfamiliar with the band back in 1976, it was that first side that really made me sit up and take notice. I'd never heard anything like this before, and immediately I was drawn in to check out the rest of the band's catalog. Even though today I don't think that Agents of Fortune is necessarily Blue Öyster Cult's absolute best album, I do think it's a good jumping off point if you're new to the band. If you connect with what you hear on this album, and in particular on that first side, then you're certain to like other stuff that you find throughout the band's extremely varied discography. If Agents of Fortune doesn't hit with you, if you don't connect with the musical madness that's represented on this album, then it's possible that BOC just may not be for you. Although, before you make that decision, I would give a listen to at least one of the 4 studio albums that follows Agents of Fortune in chronological order. That would be Spectres, which is very similar to Agents of Fortune in variety, but is maybe a bump up in overall cohesiveness. Then Mirrors, which is maybe a bit more polished, some might say more pop-oriented. Then Cultosaurus Erectus, which is harder edged and a little bit more aggressive and grittier, if you prefer that to the slicker tone of Mirrors. And Fire of Unknown Origin, which is kind of the synthesis of the best of all of the above. Again, one of those albums might pull you in if Agents of Fortune doesn't. Something worth noting, Agents of Fortune stands alone in the Blue Öyster Cult discography as the only album that features a lead vocal from each one of the 5 members of the classic BOC lineup. Eric Bloom sings lead on 4 tracks: This Ain't the Summer of Love, ETI, Tattoo Vampire, and Tenderloin. Guitar wizard Donald Roser, aka Buck Dharma, lends his unmistakable pipes to Don't Fear the Reaper. Drummer Albert Bouchard sings Sinful Love, Debbie Denise, and The Revenge of Vera Gemini, which Albert co-wrote with Patti Smith, who also contributes some vocals. And yes, I know it's written Vera Gemini, but Albert pronounces it Gemini, and since he co-wrote the song, I'm going with his pronunciation on this one. Albert's brother, bassist Joe Bouchard, sings lead on Morning Final. And finally, keyboard player Alan Lanier takes the lead vocal on True Confessions. True Confessions is in fact the one and only Blue Öyster Cult studio recording on which Alan Lanier sings lead. So there's your Blue Öyster Cult trivia pearl for today. See what I did there? Oyster, pearl. Alrighty then. So what's your take on Agents of Fortune? Where would you place it among Blue Öyster Cult's studio albums? And while we're talking about it, what is your opinion of the music of the mighty and mysterious Blue Öyster Cult? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, please tap that thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. And assuming you have, it would really be awesome if you subscribe to this channel so you can continue with us as we wander the fertile fields of classic rock and pop, and specifically in this series, these legendary albums from 1976 that are celebrating 50 years in 2026. I will see you when I see you. Until we meet here again in the nest, please be well, and please find it in your heart to do well by the people around you. And I always want to know, is there gas in the car? Yes, there's gas in the car.